Hey, what's going on, guys? It's MaxMax24, and it is Tuesday, and it's time for another Tuesday Talks. Before we get to that, please always remember to drop a like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, all that jazz, all that fun stuff us YouTubers tell you guys to do. And with that, let's talk about this week's topic. So, Blizzcon 2019 happened. It came, it went. There were some announcements, some cool stuff, but it was definitely an uptick from BlizzCon 2018 with Diablo Immortal. That was just a complete train wreck. I mean, seriously, if any of you think that was a good BlizzCon, then you're crazy. But BlizzCon 2019 did not disappoint. Okay, we got a lot of announcements. So let's go over them, and I'll give you my critique on this year's BlizzCon. Going into this BlizzCon, there was the whole Blitzchung Hong Kong controversy, and there were protests, and there were some people who were like, Hong Kong, revolution from our age and stuff. But the majority of it was quiet and in the background because most people just came there to check out the games, play the games, try out, have a good BlizzCon, all right? Hong Kong was in the back of a lot of people's minds. They made a public apology during the opening ceremony about it. A lot of people are tearing that to shreds. And, I have talked all about the whole Hong Kong situation, in my opinion on it in the corner. Just click, it's going to be right in this corner, right up here. I talked all about it, so I'm not going to get into it here. But the majority of BlizzCon was games, and the Hong Kong protests were outside or just small. There was a couple small indoor things that happened, like at the Q&A, there was two people who called out for Hong Kong, and Taliesin from Taliesin Evitel really handled it well. Taliesin and Evitel ran the Q&A session. They handled it well. So, it wasn't in our face, it wasn't all over, and it's just... You can see my opinion about the entire Hong Kong situation in the corner. Just go click that video. So let's get into the announcements. So first off, a really big announcement. Of course, the next World of Warcraft expansion was announced. Since we're going into 8.3, the end of Battle for Azeroth, it's about time to announce a new expansion, and I'm excited. I mean, I'm not as excited as I was for, say, Legion, because Legion's my favorite expansion of all time. It's just an amazing expansion. So I'm not as excited for Shadowlands, but it's got some great ideas and some cool things that could happen. So the cinematic, of course, every World of Warcraft expansion is an awesome cinematic. Seriously, the cinematic department, make a freaking Netflix show already. But the cinematic has Sylvanas going to Ice Crown, fighting Bolvar, breaking the helmet, the Lich King's helmet in half, and shattering all reality itself. Shattering the bridge between the Shadowlands, the world of the dead, and the world of the living, Azeroth. So some people are giving crap on this cinematic, being like, how could Sylvanas beat up Bolvar? Okay, Bolvar's the freaking Lich King right now. He's been the Lich King since Wrath of the Lich King. How could she beat him up? What is going on here? But we've learned that she's been getting power from the Maw, which is apparently this super evil, it's where all the evil souls go in the Shadowlands. She's been getting power, growing in power, and every action she had in BFA was to kill more people, because death apparently is broken. That's the big problem in Shadowlands. Death is broken. All the souls that are dying, they're supposed to go in front of this person called the Arbiter, and the Arbiter is supposed to sort them, choose what area of the Shadowlands they go to. Well, that's not happening. They're all going to the Maw, which the Maw is where all the big evil souls are. All the evil ones. I mean, I'm assuming Arthas might be there. Maybe. Gul'dan's probably there. Garrosh is probably there. Unless he might be in a different area. But there's just all the evil. And everybody's going there now. And that's where the Jailer lives, which might be the big baddie. And Sylvanas is working with this Jailer. So every soul that goes into the Maw, she grows more powerful. That is why she could beat Bolvar, okay? Bolvar is the Lich King. Yes, it doesn't mean he is as powerful as death itself. The Lich King is not death itself. The Lich King is the bridge between the dead and the living. Whereas the Maw and this Jailer is death itself. And Sylvanas is working with the Jailer. That's why she burnt down the tree. That's why the Lordaeron happened. That's why the Battle for Azeroth happened. Because of all that. Because she wants power. And she's the peak of her power. So this expansion will have us going into the Shadowlands to stop her. She's in there with the Jailer. She's up to something. We got to go in there and stop her. No. There's 4 zones plus the Maw. Each zone has a specific covenant, which the covenants you can join, and you'll be able to level up with them, they'll give you some exclusive powers, and you'll be able to unlock armor sets and all this other stuff, nice little wings and crap. And each covenant is very distinct. There's like a weird gothic one, there's like a angelic paladin one. They're really interesting, and once you level up all the way and with one character, then your alts can start leveling in the covenants right away. So for your main, the covenant get unlocked once you reach max level, whereas for your alts, the minute they enter the Shadowlands expansion, they can start leveling the covenants. So it looks like it's a very alt-friendly expansion, with all of that. That sounds great. You know, alts get to start on their endgame progression, and they'll be significantly higher leveled in the covenants by max level than your main was. So that is really cool. I really like alts need some friendliness to them. With this expansion, they are completely overhauling the leveling system, which I think is really interesting, okay? They're going from a level 120 down to 60 levels again. 60 levels like Classic. And the weird thing is, so any player just starting out creating their first character has a brand new level 1 to 10 zone, a brand new starting zone called Exile's Reach or something. Veteran players do not need to do that. Veteran players can do that, but they can also choose the original starting zones if they'd rather do that. And once you hit level 10, new players who have never played before will get thrown into Battle for Azeroth from levels 10 to 50, while veteran players like myself and a lot of you people get to choose what expansion. So if you don't want Battle for Azeroth, maybe you want to level through TBC. Maybe you want to level through Wrath. Maybe you want to level through Cataclysm. You get to choose. And those 10 to 50 levels that'll be your experience. So it's supposed to be a lot faster than leveling nowadays. And once you hit level 50, you'll enter the Shadowlands, and then that's 50 to 60. And every level is supposed to mean something. You're supposed to unlock something at every level. And yes, leveling it's in a tough spot with 120 levels. If Shadowlands did not do this, it would be 130 levels. But my whole problem with it, so I understand what they're going here, but new players are going to be freaking confused. Okay, I'm just going to throw that out right now. They're going to be freaking confused. Unless the new starting zone is going to tell them like all the lore up until Battle for Azeroth, they're going to be freaking confused, okay? And then also there's going to be expansions nobody touches. Like, nobody's going to want to level through Outland. Maybe one person will want to level through Outland. Nobody's going to want to level through Outland. Nobody's going to want to level through Warlords. I mean, maybe if you liked the zones, but the leveling sucked. No one's going to want to do that. Everyone's going to be in, like, Wrath or Legion. Those are the two places everyone's going to be. Okay? And taking away the original starting zones from new players, it gets rid of that whole race identity thing. Because, you know, why would you do the original starting? Well, new players don't have a choice. They're not going to know the background to their race. They're just going to know that they're part of a cog in a machine. So it's kind of taking away that race identity for them, and that's kind of upsetting to me. But I understand what they're doing here, because it's supposed to like introduce them to the mechanics and mini dungeon and stuff. But I don't know how I feel about it. Okay, again, I like that they're going down to 60 levels, but at the same time, they're cutting out a lot of content because no one's going to touch half the content anymore. New players are going to be freaking confused. It's just, there would be no better way to do it than this, but there's going to be expansions nobody touches, and like, I'm going to miss the leveling from 1 to 20 because then you get to go through all the expansions. Yeah, it's kind of confusing with the time hop and stuff, but if you ignore that, it's kind of cool because once you hit level 60, you go to Outland, and then once you hit level 70, you get to go to Wrath, and then Cataclysm, and then Warlords, and then Legion, and then Battle for Azeroth. Okay, that was fun. Whereas now, once you hit level 10, you get to choose. You can be like, I don't want what expansion I want to go. Seriously, like back in the day, it was exciting to leave Azeroth for the first time. Once you hit level 60. Once you hit level 60 and you leave Azeroth for the first time to go to a new world, that was interesting. So this is taking that away. Now I understand why they're doing it, but at the same time, it's not my favorite thing in the world. Okay, people are praising it and being like, "Oh my god, this is the best," but I feel like you're losing a little bit of the World of Warcraft this way because it's like the expansion of Warcraft. Okay, you get to choose what expansion. You'll be playing two expansions, only 2 expansions. Shadowlands is the 8th expansion, I believe. Yeah, it's the 8th expansion, but you'll be playing through only two, Shadowlands, and then whatever one you choose. So I feel like it's taking away a lot of the story and a lot of the lore and a lot of the mechanics and everything in the worlds that they've introduced. Because unless you're a veteran player, you're not going to venture into these old areas, okay? Unless you really care, you're not going to venture. And it's just, I don't know. And I mean, levels 10 to 50, being able to level from 10 to 50 in one expansion seems kind of weird, because every expansion is set up to be 10 levels. So leveling from 10 to 50 in one expansion means that levels are going to go fast. There's going to be a lot more max levels running around, okay? A lot more. It's not going to be as much of an achievement to hit max level, because there's going to be a lot of them. And along with this whole new leveling revamp, there's a lot of old class abilities that they took away that are coming back. So classes are getting more and more of their abilities back that Blizzard has taken away over the years, which is really nice. Okay, it's going back to that class, and it's not going to be as much spec gameplay anymore. It's going to be more multi-spec, or more class focused over spec focused. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, moving away from the whole you're one spec, you're locked out from abilities from the other spec. Now it's going to be more moving into your one class, you can use all these abilities. I think that's kind of interesting. And along with that, will be hundreds of new customization options for the races. So while they're taking away the original starting zones for new players and taking away that race identity, they're adding hundreds of new customization abilities to all these races to make them amazing looking. Okay, they're adding so much crap. Tattoos, you can be like specific dwarf clans, specific troll clans. It's pretty intriguing, and I'm excited to see all these customization options and how they'll revamp the whole character customization screen with all these customization options, because it's going to be a lot. So I'm excited to see that. They're also removing RNG, so that's interesting. Instead of the weekly chest with Mythic Plus, where you get a random out of this loot table, you get a random random loot, random gear. Now you'll be able to select from a list, so that's interesting. And there's also no AP grind, no artifact power in this one. So that's a big step in the right direction. There will be world quests, which once you have them, your alts will be able to start doing world quests right away once they hit level 50, whereas your main has to complete Shadowlands before they can do that. And flying is going to work the same. It's going to be Pathfinder, which I like. I like walking around for the first couple weeks, months. I like experiencing the art that they really... And the art is... It's pretty impressive. But yeah, so Shadowlands, it's going to have Covenants and the New World and the level revamp and customization options, and also Pandaren and Allied Race Death Knights. But there's no new class, no new races, which I know we got a lot of new races in Battle for Azeroth, but no new class. So we didn't have a new class in Warlords, and Warlords wasn't the worst expansion. It wasn't a good expansion, but it wasn't the worst. So it seems they're skipping out on class and focusing more on race customization while they're taking away the original starting zones. So maybe they'll announce a class later on, or maybe I feel like they're holding back a little bit. I feel like we'll get some more announcements on more stuff coming to Shadowlands. I'm already pre-ordering it, but I feel like there's going to be more to it. What we have sounds really interesting. The Shadowlands sounds intriguing. Maybe they'll add more Shadowland areas, because the Shadowlands are infinite, and we're only looking at 4 areas plus Orbius, which is a neutral city, which it's pretty much $in, plus the Maw, which you'll enter in at the beginning. You'll escape. Not everybody will be able to escape. A lot of the champions of Azeroth will be locked behind, and then you'll go back at max level. But I feel like they might introduce some more Shadowland areas, which they can. And we have an idea of the big baddie at the end, this jailer who's lurking behind Sylvanas. I feel like Sylvanas will be raid boss in maybe the 9.2, and then the jailer 9.3. We'll see. And then there comes the question: how much longer does World of Warcraft have in the world? I mean, you're dropping the level from 120 down to 60. Okay, so they're definitely gearing up for a lot more expansions. So I'm intrigued. It's set for release in 2020. I'm intrigued. But again, I feel like there's a little bit of missing. What else did Blizzard announce at BlizzCon? Well, they announced Diablo 4, which they sort of needed to, because after the train wreck of Diablo Immortal's announcement, Diablo fans were kind of like, we're done with you, Blizzard. You're ruining our franchise. You're ruining us. You're ruining our life. You're ruining our life. So they announced Diablo 4. We just got a cinematic trailer and a little bit of gameplay. There's really no idea when it's coming out at all. They don't know. They don't know, sometime. And it looks like it's going back to the roots of Diablo 2 rather than Diablo 3. Diablo 2 is more satanic, dark, bloody. Looks like Diablo 4 is going back to that instead of the more cartoony look of Diablo 3. And it's going to be online, of course. And it's going to be a non-linear open world story. So that's intriguing. And it's Diablo, but more Diablo 2 than Diablo 3. And if they don't know when it's coming out. They really don't. I mean, I don't really play Diablo, so I don't really know much to talk about. I mostly play World of Warcraft, so that's why I could talk a lot about that expansion. Whereas Diablo 4, I can't really... I mean, we don't really know much either yet. We just have a little cinematic trailer. Plus, it looks like Diablo 2. So, like, other than that, we don't really know much. And while you're waiting for that, you can play some Diablo Immortal whenever that comes out. That's still being made. It's still coming out. And it looks kind of good, actually. I'm going to have to admit, it looks kind of good. And now that we know Diablo 4 is on the horizon, Diablo Immortal's a better thing. It's a better idea. Whereas before, since we didn't know Diablo 4 was coming, Diablo Immortal kind of looked like, why are they doing this? Okay, we don't have a Diablo 4. They should focus on that first. Well, now that we know there's a Diablo 4 coming, it's more okay that Diablo Immortal's a thing. They also announced, and this was heavily rumored, they announced Overwatch 2. Now, Overwatch 2 really confuses me. I am really confused. It's more of like a expansion rather than anything else, but they're promising it's a full-on sequel. There's no release date at all. No idea when it's coming out. They have no idea. But it boasts updated models. Apparently there will be more focus on PvE. There will be story missions. Which, I mean, the Overwatch world is a really interesting, intriguing world. So I'm excited that there's actually story missions now. But there'll also be a strong emphasis on player versus player still. So, like, you know. But the story missions and hero missions are another thing. We'll let you level up your heroes and unlock new skills and put talent points in them. So it's kind of like an RPG kind of thing. So that's fun. That's intriguing. But the weird thing is the PvP content will be shared with Overwatch 1. So all the heroes and modes that are added to Overwatch 2 will be in Overwatch 1. As a sort of shared multiplayer experience thing. So I'm assuming that means Overwatch 2 players will get to play with Overwatch 1 players. I'm wondering how they're going to do this. Are they going to stop selling Overwatch 1 and just sell Overwatch 2? Are they going to give Overwatch 1 owners a deal on Overwatch 2? I don't know, because right now you're pretty much just paying for the PvE content, because the PvP content's going to be in Overwatch 1, and all your cosmetics and stuff from Overwatch 1 will share with Overwatch 2. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but we'll see. They also showed off the first new hero for Overwatch 2. It's a Canadian person named Sojourn, some female, and we have no idea her abilities at all. Nothing. Really, nothing. We just know that she's coming. So, I'm wondering what they're going to do, how they're going to market Overwatch 2. Again, are they just going to take away Overwatch 1 off the market and just sell Overwatch 2? Because companies have done that before. Are they going to give Overwatch 1 owners a deal on Overwatch 2? I don't know, because it's pretty much just a story expansion with updated models. That's really all it is. Because all the multiplayer is going to Overwatch 1 also. So, I don't know. To no surprise, they also announced the Hearthstone expansion, the final one of 2019, called Descent of Dragons. And it's Hearthstone with more dragons. It promises to finish up the story, the year-long story that's been going on. And it's going to bring new cards, fun little story mode, and more Hearthstone. It's more Hearthstone. I mean, I play Hearthstone once in a while on my toilet. So, I'm not a big Hearthstone player. Not at all. I kind of suck at it. The only game I'm really a big player of is World of Warcraft. But, like, you know, it's more Hearthstone. What? I don't know what you'd expect, other than that it's more Hearthstone. And they're also adding an auto battle mode called Hearthstone Battlegrounds, where you can watch things battle. I don't understand the point of that. I mean, apparently it's a big genre, but I really don't understand the point of an auto battler. But Hearthstone's getting one. The expansion is launching December 10th, and it promises to wrap up the year-long arc. And if you log in when the set launches, you'll get a free card, Galagrand. So mark your calendars. You get a free card. That was it for BlizzCon announcements. They had literally no news for StarCraft. Like, no StarCraft 3. Nope. Maybe next year. I feel like it's not going to happen. But maybe next year. And no Heroes of the Storm news. I mean, other than updates on Deathwing, who's coming to Heroes of the Storm, and I feel really bad because I liked Heroes of the Storm, but they're ruining it. They're destroying it. Okay, Blizzard's slowly killing it, and I'm sad. And they're not giving any hope to us fans. No hope. They're just like, okay, screw y'all. And then Warcraft 3 Reforged really didn't get any attention, aside from the fact that today, Tuesday, more people are going to be invited to the beta. So, like, that's cool. And World of Warcraft Classic also did not get much, but you really can't do much with that. You can't, okay? What do? To a game that promises not to be in any expansions. You can't do anything. So, they didn't do anything. But yeah, that was it for BlizzCon. So we got World of Warcraft Shadowlands, which looks to be a really intriguing expansion, though kind of lackluster a little bit. I want them to announce a little bit more stuff, or we need to see more, but of course I'm pre-ordering it. We got Diablo 4, which is going back to the Diablo 2 roots, but we don't know anything about it really. We have Overwatch 2, that's Overwatch 1, sharing stuff with Overwatch 1, so it's a PvE expansion pretty much, but it's a full-on sequel. We don't know when that's coming out either. We got Hearthstone expansion, Descent of Dragons, that's coming out December 10th. It's more Hearthstone, plus an auto battler that's in beta. And then no StarCraft, no Heroes of the Storm, no Warcraft 3 Reforged, and no World of Warcraft Classic news. And no new IP like I wanted there to be. So, 2 of the things that they announced, we have release dates for. Well, release windows for. Whereas all the rest, we have no idea, but we know it's coming. So, BlizzCon 2019 was definitely an uptick from BlizzCon 2018. BlizzCon 2018 was kind of embarrassing. I mean, it wasn't the best BlizzCon. 2019 was not the best BlizzCon, but it was better, way better than BlizzCon 2018. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you're picking up from this BlizzCon, or if you're still protesting them. You tell me. You tell me in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed. Follow me on social media. I upload most on Twitter, sometimes on Facebook, barely ever on Instagram. Follow me on all those 3 platforms. Subscribe to me here so you can stay updated on everything that's happening in the gaming world and enjoy my face. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And with that, I will see you in the next